Hi to all of you out there. Thank you for joining us here. I'm back with a new episode. This episode features a guest who is going to introduce us to a new world which is not so familiar to all of us. It's great conversation waiting to be heard. I thank you for your kind presence here and hope you all enjoy this episode. I would like to welcome Dr. Padmaja Suresh, a renowned Bharatnatyam dancer, choreographer, and researcher who has merged spiritual philosophy with classical dance. She is the director of Atmalaya Academy. She has a PhD on Tantra Shastra correlated with Natya Shastra. Dr. Padmaja Suresh was honored by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. She is a recipient of many awards. She is a Rex Global Fellow. She is a recipient of Karamveer Chakra, Karnataka Kalashri and Bharat Kala Shrestha. I welcome her to this episode and hope to learn a lot from her today. And I also hope you will enjoy and learn a lot from this conversation too. Hi. Namaskaram. Namaskaram. It's great to have you here, Mrs. Padmaja.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I recall we had your gracious visit to my previous exhibition and we have this gallery and you're the first person to be here. So that makes me immensely
I
happy.
feel very privileged. It's a beautiful place to be in the morning.
Thank you. Yeah. So, we have this podcast and it's about words. And it's been quite where I look at words as spirits. And from the world which you come in, the pristine world, and you have mastered, and you are in university by yourself in that genre. I am keen to know what kind, when in your world, what is the weight of words?
So, in my world of dance, and that too Indian classical dance, the unique word is through expression with my hands. So, if it's a sign language, basically, human beings have always used their hands for gestures, and this becomes a codified language in the world of dance. So, wherever we perform, the most unique and attractive part of it becomes the hand gestures. So, we use it, we don't really speak. The Vachika is inside us. The Abhinayas are the expressions, expressive modes, which are of four kinds. The Vachika is the spoken word, which is given by the narrator or by the singer. Not all the time coinciding, because sometimes it's just music, it's just background music, but still there is communication, there is language. So that is done by the word that is becoming from a thought, a whisper, and then it becomes a spoken word there, but through my hand gesture, through my facial expression, becomes a world of language. The whole story, the plot becomes clear and communicated. And I believe that in today's generation, it is important to connect them back to the roots of these art forms, because Veda, as they say, is the word of God. And it was not written by any particular person. It was been only compiled. So Natya itself, the world of dance, is called the fifth Veda because it has taken the word per se from the Rig Veda.
Okay.
And it's the word from Rig Veda that becomes meaningful as a prayoga or as an experiment, and how you deliver it through the other Vedas, the Traivedas, Rig, Yajur, and Sama with the musical skits. Finally, it's the same thing being given in different ways. And then the Atharva Veda, which was added on later, and So we have the most important components that have been taken from these four Vedas. It says Jagraha Pathyam Rigveda, Samabhyo Gitamevasha, Yajurveda the Abhinaya Rasan, Atharvanata. So Yajurveda gives the Abhinaya, Sama the music, the Rig the word, the Patya, and Atharva Veda is the science of, say, alchemy or magic. And that Veda, from that comes the most important non-translatable rasa. That is the term rasa, which is whirled over by several scholars in all the Indology departments. You will find that there is a paper that has been published. People try to explain it, but it is about how there is aesthetic relish within the poet from whom the first inspiration came as a sound. The sound called the para becomes pashyanti. Pashyanti becomes madhyama. Madhyama becomes vaikari or spoke. From the poet, the sound, the word has become a sentence became poetry, the poetry became a song, the song became composed and then performed, and that word becomes the world of objects. So, like they say, everything started from the word, every religion says that. We actually enact that. From the word came this drama. This is a rupaka, the natya, the shabda, and the rupaka, the form. The name and the form comes from the word.
And this journey of the spoken, written to spoken by, and then the unspoken abhinaya which comes, in this, when you look at your audience, do they kind of construct the word when they look at the abhinaya? Is it that is when the flow state emerges, where it kind of becomes where the viewer and the person who is actually watching the performance and the performer who is performing that, is there an unspoken kind of language of
Very
words?
much. So this is a triad of the stage.
Right.
The artist who's a dancer or actor with the musicians and the spectator. That is a triad. And it is said by the greatest commentator on Natya Shastra, Abhinav Gupta, who was a tantrika yogi, that it is the Chaitanya Atma of Shiva with the energy of Shakti. Chitta Atma descends on the stage into the Nartaka Atma. So this creates a vibratory field, and from the individual it expands into a universal consciousness called as a Sadharanikarana. And if the artist is capable, and the musicians are also very much, their sattva, their innate essence of purity is really well nourished. So that means even if you're doing a villain's role, if your sattva is good, you will do it convincingly.
Right.
Because Bharata in Natya Shastra also says that if you observe a certain purificatory rites before the act, that's why it is also likened to a temple ritual.
Correct. It's a very
It is a sacred,
Sacred,
art for sure,
right.
which can communicate all the contemporary issues as well. The medium of communication is anukirtana. It's not anukarana. It's not mimicry exactly. It is glorification.
Right.
That is why we draw it well.
Right.
The words are also poetic. It may be the Vedic dictum of Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, that is Prabhu Samhita. So like a command.
Okay.
From there, it has come to a Kanta Samhita, the word of poetry, where it's like a beloved speaking to her consort and saying, can you please do this? If you do this, don't we get the results of it? Don't you want to go there? So you get convinced by that. But the same dharma is spoken about. The fact that dharma has to be reinstated was the purpose of even creating this Naya by the Treta Yoga times, a very, very ancient
Correct.
art that we have. So, what I'm trying to, when you said the word, how it gets finally um, received is
Right.
if the artists are all in an exalted state,
Right.
who have got the science also well assimilated in them, then the audience starts seeing the music and hearing the dance.
Hearing the dance.
So, whatever I'm conveying, the subtlest motion, the movement with the hand gesture, with my eye, with my eyebrow, the audience will be able to grasp. So he hears the word through my dance.
Correct.
But the music is so well connected to it. It's like an Alata Chakra Pratiman, the fire that no sparks come out, it keeps continuously. The dancing whips, there you are able to see that light of the music that is reflected on the artist. So it's an extremely deep, intense yagna that
Yajna, which is happening.
is. They say that one moment in laya, or when you're in tune with that divine sound, is equal to 1 lakh rituals, basically.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because you are trying to, get into a very, very high state through any ritual, right? You're
Correct.
beckoning the divine to come to the human level.
Correct.
And you're taking the humans on a divine. That's exactly what is happening on stage.
Right.
We are actually personified as the deities.
Correct. Yes.
And we do the humans striving to become one again.
One, that is
The ultimate goal is Advaita. Advaita is one,
one. Yeah.
where you don't see the dancer separate from the dance. If you see that, then the dancer's ego is too strong.
Too strong. And that has a failure.
Yeah. So that ego gets dissolved through this process, and there is only dance. There is only music. There is only the word. So the poet's rasa, what he intended to convey should be conveyed finally. So if it was Valmiki who saw the Krauncha birds getting hit by a hunter and suddenly outpoured his kavya as an adhika, that Karuna rasa keeps continuously flowing the Ramayana. Although there is Veera, today is Ramanavami, so I'm happy to be
Correct. Yes.
speaking about
Yes.
Rama. So that Rama who I have never seen, nor have you, nor as an audience, nor even Tulsidas
Yes.
or Kambar,
Right.
at the moment that word comes into a song and pours out the bhava, I see Rama in front of my eyes. I feel Rama. I feel Sita. So how is that possible? How do I get sattvika where there is a romancha, where there is ashru, change of voice, change of color? So this is an extremely deep-rooted science
Right.
of alchemy,
Right.
where there's a white magic that you get into another character. Harakaya Pravesha. You enter, they say, the jaws of death. So there is Mrityu on the Shringara Kaksha. They make up attire robe.
Right.
And you don another character.
Right.
Then on the other side of the door, there is Niyati, who is the goddess of destiny. You're able to even work on your baggage of destiny. So, very, very beautiful language of communication of the highest truth
That
through a lie.
True. Right.
Because I am not that character.
Correct. You are personifying that character.
And it is an impersonal level of consciousness. It is not my personal sorrow.
Correct. Yes.
If I'm showing death, if I'm showing sorrow of Kunti on stage,
Right.
it's not my son
Correct.
or my grandson.
Right.
But that level of karuna shows there is a different plane with which you are dealing with. So the audience is able to understand that. That's why it becomes impersonal.
Impersonal. Okay.
There is no personal trait. That's why I go back home happy that I have shed there is a catharsis that is happening.
Right.
Shed my latent, other worldly, mundane,
Yes.
disrupting, worries, anxieties. And same with the audience.
Right.
If he's going to hold on to thinking about the time, and he's not going to get the result.
Right.
So the audience also breaks the objective identity in this world of objects
Right.
and gets closer to the subject in him, which is Shiva. Because he feels he knows this Rama. He feels he knows Karuna. He knows what is anger. He knows what is fear. Even a child knows. This is the child is able to say that Ravan is bad. Or he doesn't know the name. He says that man is bad because he's hurting somebody.
Correct.
So these are all universe.
Universes.
So we are getting into that world, and the body is like a yantra. You have
Correct.
to
It is
nourish
right.
it.
Yes.
You cannot pamper it. You have to keep your discipline.
Discipline. Yes.
So it's a yoga,
Yeah.
right? So I hope I've answered your questions in my extrapolated.
No, this is perfect. Like you said, most people, when they look at a performance, I think the preamble to enter into that flow state, I mean, where they are, they really need to get involved at another level, and kind of they need to build that premise. It's almost like getting ready for a yagna, like you said. You need to be in that state of mind that you're going to worshipful place, and you need to follow certain ways. You need to be in that certain decorum, seating position, mudras, maybe even the prayers which are, taught to you before, how to. So I think it's almost like a performance, like you said, is most proficiently, if there is a transaction between the artist and the audience, then I think both should rise up.
Yeah.
Both should.
Transaction takes you to transcendence.
Yes, that transcendence is the reason they are coming there, and transcendence is a very heavy word. I mean, it's also almost
Like a springboard to salvation.
yes.
It
And
is.
It is. And if you can be there in that state,
Yeah.
then like you said, you have suspended yourself from earth for that moment of time. You have levitated, like they say in spiritual world, you can actually leave your body and move up into a trance state. So here what really comes to my mind is, though the expressions and the poetry and the music is there, can I then kind of imbibe this message that when we are watching the performance, certain words are coming onto us, like you said, the state of anger, fear, the tragedy, the joy, and the movement. So can I say that in this unspoken transaction, there's a lot of words that are supposed to emerge in the audience. It just keeps coming to them as information.
Yeah, like that is what is called Vibhava Anubhavat Sanchari Bhavat Rasa Nishpatti. So we have a determinant
Okay.
with the music set. Then we have the Anubhava, the experience felt by the main character. Then there is a transitory Sanchari, move around that one line. We don't have to take 10 lines to depict.
Right.
Just one line, we keep moving, building upon it. It's like the waves dashing against a rock. And then you get that sound. You see, so then the message, like a sandesha, sanketa, that is grasped gradually.
So that is where the words, it's like a flow of words on the person.
And at that time, the rasa actually, when we speak of the 8 main rasas which Bharata has given, the 9th Shanta was added later by those who pointed out that Bharata meant there is a Shanta already when he said there is a state of nirveda or disillusionment when he spoke of transitory states. There are, if you talk of a table of bhavas, there are 8 sthayis, predominant bhavas. Like for Shringar or erotic, it is rati. It is for Raudra, it is krodha. Like that, for 8 of them, there would be the sthayi, the predominant one. Very important.
Right,
which should be maintained. It should not fluctuate throughout the storyline. In between, there is this Sanchari. There are 33 transiting states. And then there are 8 of Sattvika Bhava. Sattvika is like horripilation, tears, change of voice, and all that I was telling you, which cannot be taught, okay? I can teach my student Angika, way of the language of the hands, everything. But Sattvika, unless I'm able to get my student to tap her innate resonance, she will not be able to get it. Because she has to imagine, she has to concentrate and develop into meditation.
Meditation.
That concentration should spontaneously become a meditative state. So the Sattvika, Sanchari, and the Sthai together are 49. Nirveda he has posited in the middle. And that is disillusionment. So the scholars or the commentators say that Bharata Muni also indicates that there is the state of equanimity. Because when you are disillusioned,
Right.
come to the state of, that is enough. I don't want all this. So that is already meant when he speaks about Nirveda. So the 8 rasas, the sthais that is there, maintained with the Sanchari, Vibhava, Anubhava, is the science played by the artist. With her skill, practice, involvement, all going together. Now, even if there is a space, we're talking of timeless and spaceless
Correct.
entities,
Correct.
there is still a space.
Correct. There is a defined space.
So, I cannot trip over. I should know where the light is coming.
Correct.
So, with that, I am maneuvering, I am using that space to get that feeling out. The audience is just sitting numb. Okay. He is not going to be doing anything, but that message comes to him and touches his own sthayin. Like the rati, the krodha, that connects with what is projected on this, enacted on this.
Enacted there.
And that deeper, when it touches, the sound is heard by him. So it's finally the spanda, they say, the spanda matra or Shiva and Shakti resonating, vibrating in everybody's heart
Correct.
as the bindu, as that pulsating dot. Supreme, supramundane consciousness.
Right.
It's not subconscious there, your dream state, not conscious. Super conscious.
State.
So that state is already known. He says, I know this. I had forgotten it. Now I have come to connect with the same spirit. I know that everything is in me, that I am Shiva.
Correct.
That supreme consciousness is that message that comes to thee.
Right.
So there are 2 types of success or efficacy. Also Natya Shastra, chapter 27, he speaks about. One is Daiviki, one is Manushi. Manushi is today we find it a bit too uproarious, like, this guy, who, and all those things.
Right.
That is actually, that is one of the things. Maybe an applause makes you feel happy.
More like cacophony kind. Yeah.
That is not the way this was designed. This is more like the Daiviki Siddhi, where you feel there are 1,000 eyes of Sahasraksha Indradeva with the Gandharvas
Right.
watching you from a different astral level. You are transporting everybody on that astral level. So the spoken word, I come back to what you were saying, the word is ultimately this I am. That thou art. Aham Brahmasmi.
I am Brahmasmi. Yeah.
I am Atma Brahma. First is Prajnanam Brahma. You sound from your perception level.
Correct.
From perception level of understanding, you come to an emotional level of understanding, an imaginative level of understanding, a cathartic level where you just let go.
Surrender.
And then the transcendental level of becoming one. So, aham idam is the message that comes.
through one performance and that one story which is told.
That is the actual level. What you're doing now is peeling off,
Correct.
We don't realize this is, why did I feel a joy in the sad tale? Why did I forget everything for that moment? Kalidasa, the great who wrote the Abhijnana Shakuntala, the greatest poet ever, the Sanskrit,
Right.
the poetry that he has. Unfortunately, we don't have any more after so many, years of removing most of our Sanskrit texts, burning manuscripts. What should we do? We have a different, we've come to a different state. Now I'm talking to you in English.
Right.
Should have been perhaps Sanskrit.
Right.
So there he says, Abhijnana Shakuntalam is the meaning that I have forgotten. There also Dushyanta forgets. But the ring reminds him.
Correct.
So there is a catalyst. The artist works as that. A medium for the Rasika to unite with God.
Unite with God. Which is actually great service. In the sense, I think people see it as the artist is performing to kind of regale in their performance, but it is the other way around. It is the service that is being offered for the humanity to reach that stage. I mean, like all arts do, it's like music elevates you. And here in a performance like, Bharatanatyam, it's almost like, I would say it's a vehicle to transport yourself if you vibrate in the right
Exactly. So Shabda, from Shabda of word, you come to Nada of sound.
Right.
That vibration, Nada.
Right.
So that Nada is what is the one that is keeping us together, the cosmos together. Shiva is done.
Right.
The Nada from which the Damaru, the sounds were out. The whole cosmos came into being.
Right.
So if I'm showing Shiva, I'm actually connecting with the principle of the whole universe. That is there on stage.
Right.
Shows to what extent it is consecrated. Should be treated as.
Treated as that. So in today's world now, like we are facing Gen Z and the oncoming generations, do you think for them to read and understand the context of the arts in terms of philosophy, should that be an important subject matter?
Absolutely. Like I'm trying my best from my small initiatives to bring the Shastra and the Prayoga together,
Right.
to gulf the bridge between theory and practice. And wherever I'm invited to perform for lectures, among students, among the youth, among performances, I accept in spite of sometimes having to travel and go the same evening, because that is the way I can reach
Right.
across. At the same time, I don't want to make it, too much of a noise. There should be a voice. It should be really genuinely heard.
Right.
So I think they are intelligent enough if they are able to get a direction, guide them. When students come to learn, I'm also not after numbers, have very few selected ones, and I train them from the beginning to understand that this is something like, a great gift of God for you, like a treasure.
Right.
Which you have to value. So there is a lot of, in Tamil they say minukku and sarakku. Minukku is glitter.
Right.
Sarakku is substance.
Right. Okay.
So they say you go after that.
Right.
You go after the grades.
Right.
And the glamour will come to you.
I know.
Today or tomorrow. Like for example, when I teach them, when I'm about today's Ramnamni again, so I'm just a story, a parable to make it interesting for them. Like you said, how this generation will.
Right.
Because they're so clever.
Right.
And there is a golden toys made of gold, of Ravana.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, what are you going to select among the two? Would you go for a wooden doll
Right.
of Ravan
Right.
or a golden doll of Ravan?
I think if I'm supposed to be electing it, I would definitely go for the wooden.
Yeah, that is because all along your when you're growing up, you've heard Rama is good.
Right.
So somewhere your mind is also but conditioned to believing Rama is.
Right. Correct.
So and when a child comes and says, I say, why? Why should you? Just because your grandma said, just because.
Right,
How do you know if Rama is good?
Right.
And then the other day became bold and said, ma'am, we'll go for the golden Ravan. So I said, but Ravan, you heard is bad.
Right.
You're able to take the risk.
Right.
So it's, ma'am, I can melt that golden.
And then convert it into Rama.
Look at today's children's intelligence and argument and the ways of the world.
Right.
So then I had to again train them and say, how I would look at it now to tell you is, here there's a chance of getting both.
Correct.
Goodness, Rama Ra itself means Rama, Ra. The Ra itself is supposed to give you delight. Even in Kashi, recently we had a program in Kashi, you were depicting how even Shiva comes in, says the mantra of Rama in your ears when you're shedding the coil, because that is when you get supreme bliss. So he stands for that. Right?
Right.
And this is because there are only two entities for the ways of the world, the transactional world of karma and dharma.
Right.
Dharmo rakshitaha. These two entities are for that. And when you show 10 heads, it's because it's kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, ahankara, all their children. That is what it. So go to the metaphysical from the physical. So good, you keep doing. Already you have understood. You speak good words.
Right.
You hear back good words.
Right.
You think a good thing.
Yes.
It's just a vibration. The world is like a cocoon, right? So you are attracting when you are like that.
Right.
Okay. So if you take him, the story shows him winning a battle against the bad, shooting an arrow, and Ravana is going to fall on his feet.
Correct.
That is the moral of the story.
Right.
So the gold
Right.
that you are now looking at
Right.
is going to come around to you for sure.
Correct.
So your choice of Ravan will not give you Ram.
Correct.
But your choice of Ram will put Ravan under your feet.
Right.
Then you can do what you like with the gold.
So you can melt the gold and use it the way you want.
First and most important is the choice.
Right.
We are given so many choices. Today's children have umpteen choices.
Right.
100 times more than what I am.
Absolutely, no doubt.
And that's the danger line.
Right.
The discriminative thinking
Right.
is what is required, which Natya can definitely. It is the, the solution for the problem that we have today in the
So it can be a very strong intervention where
It is already.
It is already, I know.
So despite all the other way of corrupting it, diluting it, etc.,
Right.
still it is about good over evil.
Right, absolutely.
And there are ways and means that people are trying to even change that format, which if I am there in any sabha, I get up and immediately say, don't do that.
Okay.
You're doing a big damage. Instead of being a Brahma Rakshak, you're becoming a Brahma Rakshas.
Okay.
So
Right.
So people, because if you're too much, attracted by only the commercial racket and the race that is there,
Right.
then you forget that, you are chasing your own tail ultimately.
Correct. And you'll stamp on it eventually. So in this context now, like you said, the learning which is there for the generations which are now aging at one point and which are younger, and with AI having come and there's a lot of contextual choices which are there. In such cases, like you have named your organization Atmalaya. So I wanted to go to ask you what was, because you could have chosen any name and you come with a rich repository of understanding, the Vedic world, but you chose Atmalaya. So I'm pretty keen on knowing why did it get that name. And when you look at the choice which people are doing, do you think, like we were just talking pre to this, that Thought for the Day was there earlier? That was almost like a way of putting in like a possible guiding lamp. If not that lamp, at least they'll think of other lamps which they heard yesterday's Thought for the Day, day before. So
And
something.
we had grandparents to sit and relate stories.
Relate
to us. They
stories.
don't sit and watch serials. Right?
Yes, yes.
Even they have
Yes, yes.
become.
Yeah, they are again words which can, I think, put people on different trajectories. Like you said, a performance, when it is there and the rasa is, the transaction is perfect, then you walk into that world, you experience that world, and you rise with the artist to a level of transcendence.
Absolutely.
So similarly, now what is happening is when you look at something which is being beamed on television, they are large televisions with surround sound, you are again being drawn into a set of words or set of actions which can again,
Unfortunately, that's the realism that it shows, whereas our Natya is about ideals.
ideal. But these ideals, now if they come in a way, like in terms of philosophical nuggets, do you think people should keep some time to separate entertainment which comes? So what they watch, with absolute focus, delightful food in their hand, and they are, it's
All with hydrogenated oil and all the...
and it's taking people down. But unfortunately, that is where the tongue is, kind of, it's like mind, memory, and taste is stuck. Now, if you want to release them, do you think we need corridors where such performances, or there are guftagus where there are some words which are transacted purely because there are words which can rewire your mind?
Sure.
Such things, do you think, should also be a part of our day?
It is very much a part. We need to break into, as you're saying, the comfort zone of today's. It's easier for them.
Right.
So I think organizations that are doing workshops, we're also doing it in our own way, that we travel across as far as possible, even to rural areas for many years now.
Right.
And then hold the workshops, get some audiences there, but you really don't need to worry that there are few. There was only one Arjun for whom the Gita Upadesh was that became the song of the whole world.
Right.
Similarly, you need a few like a Pandav Sena, which I'm also developing in Atmalaya.
Right.
It's Atma, the spirit. Laya is disillusion, comes from Pralay. So the world of creation makes you dissolve from the gross to the subtlest level of consciousness or awareness, mindful awareness. So yoga, it's about kaushalam, how you are able to maintain skillful action with mindful awareness. Okay, so that is what Atmalaya is literally trying to build up among the youngsters, even the little children, and across, because there's no regional language barrier, there is no religious barrier.
Correct.
So this art that is the best way.
That's the best way.
It is
It's
for
like a
all-
melting pot kind of.
All people can't come in, because rasa is something, as I've already said. And recently, we've been performing in different lyrics. We don't do only Tamil or Kannada. Although Bharatanatyam is a South Indian flavor, we're doing it in, like, even the temple artists themselves used to take up songs in other languages, in Hindi or even Western tunes. So that way you are able to. When I perform abroad, there have been people coming and saying, "Ma'am, it's a pity you can't see yourself." Or, "Ma'am, we don't believe in your God per se. But we believe in the energy that you are embodying. And that energy is what is made us forget our
Those
daily
physical
worries. And that is possible. It's like the Gita again. That you're playing various, what does Krishna tell him? You're playing various roles. You are born as a Kshatriya. You have to fight
Correct.
and remove adharma. So this is your role.
Right.
You are like an empty flute
Correct.
where I play the music,
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
right? So the same way you see yourself on stage as a Sakshi, I get, because Bharatanatyam is Eka Aharya Lasya. Yani, one costume only. I don't go and change like a
I
drama.
know. I know. You have to do it only with Abhinaya.
With single person,
Yeah,
I take a turn or I change my body language. I'm Yashoda, I'm Krishna, I'm Kamsa.
Right.
Everything at the fraction of a second.
Right. 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 Yes.
So you are changing roles. I become a second person, a third person, first person, no person. So the form dissolves into the formless. Sagun se nirgun. So nirgun tattva
Right.
through sagun. Advaita through dvaita.
Right.
Unity through diversity.
Right. That is where it really hits the fine spot kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And so far, yes, God's grace, I have succeeded. I've been to travel about at least 34 countries where I've had opportunities to perform widely in India. I never say no whenever there is something coming up, and if my body is able to pull up,
Right.
I say no, today I'm tired, I'm not. But then if something on the way, there were so many, I said, okay, I cannot say no, because there is this urge to connect.
Correct,
I'm able to connect BJP
Right. Right. Right.
through the word. When I'm lecturing as well as demonstrating, it becomes more clear
Right.
when it is enacted,
When it's enacted. Correct.
it is performed.
Perform.
Because the performing art is like the dancer becomes the performance. I don't have a canvas separate from me.
Correct. It's not like a PPT presentation.
I don't have a painting where
Right. Right.
I'm different after all. Here it is me, myself, becoming one.
Wow.
So if I'm not there, there is no performance, right? So that is why I myself feel it's not Padmaja at all. It is definitely not me. I don't hold on to that.
Right.
It's just a name given to a form for Miss Janma
Correct. Correct.
through my cycle of which I have to take. But I feel so blessed that I was made to dance,
Right.
that I've got this art in my family. Father was a great artist himself.
Right. Queen.
And he was doing mono act theatre. He had extreme mastery over Sanskrit and Bhagavatam. And he was holding audiences spellbound by his Harikatha and his Hasyaras,
Wow.
full of humor.
Right.
So it started from a very young age. And in spite of doing all my other education in Mumbai, and because, how that's the world of transactions again, which is trying to tell you dance can be side hobby.
Exactly.
But then somehow the gurus also had some very nice, my mentor guru in Mumbai again, they were inspired, taken good interest to cultivate that dedication. But after so many years also, if you say dance, I would just get ready, and because you feel that Brahman Aswada, they say that touch of that height. So it's like deep sleep.
It's like deep.
Deep sleep, right?
Right.
Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Turiya. Turiya is the fourth level where you
Right.
are aware
Right.
that you are sleeping.
Right.
That is what the saints get.
Right.
So that kind of meditative level is possible. Is possible.
Is
And
possible.
It's happened repeatedly, which is why I feel very, very blessed, and I wouldn't, try give up an opportunity like that at all. So there is other things will be there. I'll tell them, okay, we need to come over. We need fuel for the car, right? So those things we speak about. But for me
Right.
and my students who are trained by me, the goal is Atmalaya.
that transaction of transcendence which you can offer to them is where you are. So then this brings me to a very interesting word, ikigai, as it's known in the
Sorry?
Ikigai, as in the Japanese word where, what you want to become and you become, your passion, your purpose, everything aligns. So you have you're living that space, like you said, for you the performance and where you go there, and that's the calling, and rest of the stuff is noise. Which
And
just
also my academics, which I'm teaching or if I'm explaining to them, those are all necessary. Like at the university, it's a California-based university that I'm teaching virtually. And choreography or writing, I've come out with, the latest book is The Dance of Tantra and the Satguru.
right.
The mudras and the language, unspoken word of the great gurus like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Ramana Maharshi, who was incarnate without speaking, like Janamurti,
Right.
the Lord in silence.
Right.
Shirdi Sai Baba.
Right.
And of course, Satya Sai Baba also comes with that. Like how the gurus communicate, and the Paramacharya of Kanchipura is Sasi Chandrasekharam Saraswati. And that I have connected with the tantric aspects of dance, including temple rituals, the language of hasta abhinaya, which is gestures, and tantric mudras, yogic mudras. And what is the higher purpose of
Higher purpose.
yoga?
Right.
What is the purpose? That was my last book. So in spite of writing or speaking, whatever, the first and foremost is the dancer. That is the footboard on which I'm standing.
Right. But that footboard is, I think, if I may say, is the fountain of passion, which helps, which is an extended version is what you're writing. I think all the knowledge. So can I say, or can I kind of relate, saying that if you develop something as deep as what you have developed in your journey through life, do you get into a state of higher knowledge? Is it like a better EQ, emotional quotient, and you're able to relate to world in a more better form, understand? So do you think to reach that state, the kind of journey you have had or practice, you think is it something that you would say the youngsters today should also find a passion, purpose,
Absolutely.
and scale it, because that's when the real intelligence blossoms, not through textbooks, which will take you to a relative level of knowledge, and especially with AI now, since supercomputing and super intelligence is there now. So anything that is methodically conceived is out there for you to quickly master. You can take a crash course.
1 ounce of practice is equal to so much of theory.
So much of theory. So here, do you think that people should, like how you have blossomed and you have that fountain of intelligence, and then the connectivity, the books, the unspoken to spoken, spoken to unspoken. So do you think people should invest more in journeys like that now that you've lived and you are a lived version of that journey? What do you think? What would be your
So this
concept?
initiative last year we started called Natya Shastra Gurukulam,
Okay.
which is now starting in Navi Mumbai. You already had inaugural programs and talks, and we're going to do some workshops in July and August. And we're going to throw that open to all over the country and attract a lot of youths to this and make them, see, they have to go through it. I can talk about sugar unless I eat it, I wouldn't.
Right.
Unless the other person is able to taste. That's what we call rasa. You can keep on describing, but you should get a taste of it. First, by watching, you have to develop the interest in grassroots levels also.
Right.
Among the younger students, younger children. And then making them indulge in it, especially for the ladies and the girls. It's an extremely good physical and emotional exercise, because I strongly feel that in any society, women make the backbone.
Absolutely.
To balance
Absolutely.
even family and work.
Yes.
This is the rhythm.
Right.
For me personally, my family has been there throughout.
Right.
And there have been very challenging roles.
Right.
See, I'm a daughter-in-law. I'm continuing to be a daughter. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a teacher. I'm a performer. So again, there is getting into it, coming out, that detached attachment.
Attachment.
There are times when it becomes too much emotional overbearing personally.
Right.
But then the Sakshi in you comes. Remember, it's going to pass.
Right.
Nothing is permanent because you are realizing the permanent state on and off.
Right.
If I'm doing so many things, who am I?
Right.
So the moot question is, who am I?
Right.
Have I known myself first?
Right.
That discovery, self-discovery is possible. So it's very, very meditate. A few moments for students, I make them sit in front of the puja room. See how the painter has brought in a beautiful. You see, unfortunately, we don't have Chandamama and Amarchitra.
Right.
Look at the features, the beauty of that image. You're going to become that character. So it's like, it's poetry in movement. The painting has come into life. So those moments, light a lamp, put your heart into it. All our rituals, if you break a coconut,
Correct.
there is a lot of metaphysical science in
Right.
each and everything.
Right.
Hinduism is full of that.
I know. That way it's a
People
huge...
think it's idolatry. People think it is, myth. It is not. There's a lot of science hidden where the human higher intellect comes into play. Intuition, intellect, intelligence.
Right.
All this is there. Only then you can grasp it. So you have to take them, and quantum physics speaks about the same thing today. The sound, or which maybe Adi Shankara should be called the father of particle physics, if it's say. It is there in all the stotras. The rishis have understood that all the time, that it is this vibration that is the God particle.
God particle has become...
So we have to invest, like it's like sitting on, like a beggar sits, I believe, in a temple on a box, and he is continuously begging. Someone comes and asks, "Kya hua? Why are you continuing?" He said, "No, my forefathers begged,
Right.
so I am also going to do. They are making good money." So one day he says, "Have you at least got up and seen what is there in that box?"
Right.
So when he opens it, he finds there is a whole lot of treasure in it.
I see. Okay.
It's exactly what is happening to us. Everything we are borrowing, everything we are begging out. So our youth should be inspired with a continuous movement of knowing the core tenets of our philosophy, our Sanatana Dharma.
Right.
Because Natya is
a
very much rooted, and we have the Guru Shishya Parampara. It's not the teacher is standing and students are sitting in the class. No, the teacher is, like the Guru, and the student is, it's an Upanishad, is sitting by the feet of the Guru and getting that knowledge. We still have to follow, and I'm strict on that aspect.
Right.
I say, you are not bowing down to me.
Right.
It is the parampara, the sampradaya you have to keep.
You're right.
So through these arts, we are able to maintain. We are investing time with this Gurukulam. I am positive that we will be able to get in more and more people. We've had this Ekata Nyasadham from Bhopal MP government, where I'm also there in that movement that is happening since a few years now. Getting people to understand Adi Shankara's Advaita philosophy through Natya, through this universal language of Natya. That's the advantage we have with dance.
I know. It kind of can melt anybody, just because a performance, music and performance together, I can break anybody. It can be anybody. And then you hear the sound, the body kind of reacts to the whole thing. And if they see a dance as a flow and a state, they get involved, because you are actually, through Abhinaya, you're telling a story, which is pretty powerful. And, I think people say,
It's Katha and Kirtan.
yes, I think globally, it's a universal language.
Indian arts have become successful all over the world.
Right.
But there again, a small percentage is only trying to
Right.
keep up the originals as much intact as possible with the modern methods. I also have virtual classes, I'm not denying. I also use online.
Correct.
There, but it's not a replacement or a substitute to the actual one-on-one student and communication where you're transmitting knowledge.
So you think there is if we can bring this word aura, so you think when there is a performance, and if you have to study the aura which is there, and like you said, physically when you teach a student, do you think there is a merger?
Absolutely. Curlian photography, if you come and check, they will definitely be. They have done such experiments.
You can see a single color?
Absolutely. That's what I've I've been told. And
So what if you photograph a performer and a performance, and when they're in a flow state, we should be able to see the vibration and the energy like that? Like a prayer?
sure. It's a prayer. It's like consecrated space where consciousness has become like a ritual.
Yeah, like a yagna is being performed.
That kind of communication where there's only one, that oneness comes about.
So here, just now that we have so much of technology, where there are so many answers which are ready, my quest is to know that human brain and human mind, as in we have this yantra, like you call it, our whole body is formatted in a certain way because it has got a purpose, and I think each point has a definition.
And that's
and
why
each-
the hastas are so powerful.
so powerful. And remedies are there. People say use this mudra. So when all this is there, and on the other side we have this, you have the
Spectators.
spectators, and then we have technology which has come in now, which is saying that we can put together answers, etc. Do you think all the answers can be found there, or the answers which lie within yourself? Because for each person the answer is different, because they're made up of their own vibrational parts, their experiences. So do you think for them to find answers, for them to go inside, you think contextually such spaces like, dance,
Surely,
performance,
there will be
words,
marked,
right,
change psychologically, definitely in the spectator.
right,
Because it is idealism, as I said. It's not actually depicting like you see in the movies.
right,
So much gory blood, and
right.
sometimes you have to close your eyes, or if there is too much of obscenity, you don't know where to look.
Correct,
It's not that.
Right,
So it's an idealism where there is a subtlety, there is
Right.
sweetness in it. So it's like having one kala jamun here, or a jalebi here, or a payasam.
Right, right.
It melts, right?
Right.
And then you know that you have recognized why do you want it. There is a ras in you that is connected with it. And that ras was there in different forms. But you have got that sweetness in you. Ultimately, the charvana, and that you're relishing. Same way, the audience and the artist, like I said before, they rise together in that oneness. So there is no other. Advayan, there is no two. You and I are one.
And such experiences are important for people to really kind of
And that lasts, right? That's why you want to go back to it. You may have seen 100 times Draupadi's Vastrapaharanam and that Shoka and Krishna coming.
right,
Or Krishna stealing butter.
right,
But still it gives you joy.
right,
Are you a sadist that you want to see Draupadi's action like this? No.
right.
But there is still that joy. So the audience realizes, the spectators, prekshak, who is able to use his eyes and visualize, he realizes that there is something that is making him feel that sweet Brahmananda in him through these various actions. So you find people repeatedly coming for the show of different artists also, because there will be still a shade of difference.
Yeah, the interpretation
The
may be very subtle.
interpretation, even your own your body, which is your kshetra, your field of action,
Right,
is different.
Right.
So there will still be, even if I reject it,
right,
there will be an automatic movement which is peculiar to me,
which will be
which cannot be emulated by even a student, or among them I can. That's why I don't teach the same way to all the people.
who has you.
I always want to see the child, see how that person will respond to this song, how the physical traits are, because it's also beauty, It's also using your feet,
Right.
how the acrobatic skill is, everything you have to watch, how the emotional quotient is. So each one is unique.
Right.
So in that, even the spectator, there is a universal consciousness of oneness. But through that compartmentalized division,
Right.
slowly, he realizes that this aham idam, this is me. This is me, that is me, that is that higher.
Right.
See, from vyakti,
Right. Right.
vyakti to vyakta
Yeah. Yeah.
to avyakta. Inarticulate completely.
Right. Right. Right.
So both you're able to see. There is this apparent reality and the absolute reality.
Absolute reality.
Apparent reality is also there. That is the sweetness of this, this Natya thing is
Right.
that apparent reality of me as Padmaja is also still there.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely. Because
So my costume or what suits me
right.
or the way in which my eye is moist or somebody else's, that's still there, though I am not bound by it.
Right.
So that apparent reality and the absolute reality of the universal consciousness of the character, the seeing, the relish, the whole message, everything, that is one. So for the audience also, this can be a purificatory rite for them. That's why Bharata's promise is that the producer of the play, the Rasika is the most blessed. The Sahridaya is the luckiest of all. It's like the rasa has come from the seed. The poet's word, from the seed to the sprout, to the tree, flower. Fruit is eaten by whom?
No.
So how long it's carried.
Right. It is almost like God is created so that the creation can actually adore it, enjoy it, relish it, and
That's why he says Shivaloka Apnoti. You're able to get not a Srishti Sthiti Samhara, not creation, sustenance, resolution. It is removing the veil of ignorance, Tirodhana.
Right.
And Anugraha, supreme grace comes.
Comes to you. Perfect. So, another important question I wanted to know, like I said, the podcast is about words and the impact of spoken, unspoken, and the impact on the human mind. So, in your journey through life, can you just help me develop an arc where if there was any set of words through, your being a parent, even before that when you're parented, to your professional journey, just to let people know that the choice you make to the spoken, like you said, when you see an audience, you said you have to relate and then build a bridge which is relatable, and then the appreciation grows. It becomes like a mutual journey. So can you just guide?
I think I have been always inspired by these, as I said, book of quotes.
Okay.
So there is a Chinmaya mission we used to go regularly in Mumbai.
Okay.
We've been fortunate to have been exposed to several gurus even as children, as we grew up.
Right.
It's a competitive world fitness, survival of the fittest in Mumbai. You get a bus also, you have to run and catch it. Which I was doing a lot of such circus to reach my dance class, and I was a topper in school.
Wow.
I was a university rank holder in college.
Okay.
So everybody thought I'll take science because I had a full mark in biology. And
Wow.
I taken MBBS. I could have had a walkthrough for admissions at that time. But I chose to take, I don't know for what, I took commerce because father was cost accountant, management consultant, and I thought that I'll have more time for dance and music if I take up something where I don't have, lab work and things like that. So I think the book of quotes of Swami Chinmayananda, I still keep with me, and I tell my students to read it and change the leaf every day, is where a successful man is one who builds a house with the stones thrown on him by others. Because that shows there were adversity.
Right,
See? There was adversity for choosing dance.
Right, obviously.
There was adversity even in my personal, journey because my choice of marriage, which was, the Brahmins cannot marry in the same gotra.
Correct. Right.
So we happened to be the same gotra and we chose each other.
Right.
So with every adversity to make it work seemed to be more challenging. And there were occasions when, when the people with whom I was learning, there are times when I did feel as a child there was some favoritism, which hurt me as a child.
Right.
But I proved that that won't affect me.
You know.
And whoever did that had to choose me again and say, no,
Right.
you are the one who was going to do this. Nobody can do it better than you.
Right.
So you sit in the front and the others will follow you.
Right.
So those were the incentives for me to work harder, to take adversity as an advantage,
Right.
vantage point, and work on myself.
Right.
So I was so unforgiving. That is not a very positive trait later on as a perfectionist, that if by chance, if I'm doing a pose and my leg would shake,
Right.
I would come back and cry over it.
Right. Okay.
I've not practiced enough. So if I lost, like I was a topper, 1 or 2 times I became second rank.
Right.
And I used to throw a tantrum and crying and saying, no, how did I lose my
Lose. Right.
So that was the Padmaja as a child.
Right. Right.
So it's a go-getting and drive and
Right.
I have to do it. You say, no, I will prove you're wrong. So that
Right.
that sometimes works, because if you're not affected at that age, then you would not do anything. You're
Right.
too complacent.
Right.
But it helped me to build up. And then there was this phase when, as a motherhood also, you have 2 children, and then you cannot dance the 6-7 months,
Right. Right.
the
Absolutely.
first trimester, the last, and then later also for some time. But I said, let me use this time to learn more music, because I was always learning music well, and I was performing concerts a few occasions.
Right.
So I started developing violin, mridangam, and God bless, so the children also perhaps from the womb picked up a lot more
Both are,
music.
they're into the world, contributing to the world of music.
Yes. And my husband is a man of very few words. So totally different from me.
Right.
So there are times that his silence spoke a lot. So
Right,
I understood where I have to be a little, but I have always juggled, the jugglery has been happening perfectly. Like in-laws also very old when they were not well. And
Right. Right.
still the family, those things happening, taking care. But it's a way to...
It's like you're getting into yourself, into a passion project, and then
And then after the doctor says, if I had a very encouraging doctor, luckily, and said, you can get back to your costumes. And I had put on at least about 15 kilos after the pregnancies, and to get back into the costumes becomes a very big challenge. But that again becomes a target for you. And later, you see, you start getting steady. I think that age,
Right.
you start becoming a little more and relaxed, in the sense your work is happening, but you don't want to. But there are people at my age also who will be still running the race.
Right.
I decided I'll just step back and be the Raja and the Rishi both.
Right.
The Raja is winning battles.
Right.
But at the same time, the Rishi in me is now, or the one that reflects,
Right.
the one that says, have Shantam also. Weigh the pros and cons. And do you need to
Right.
do this, or do you need to? So that
Do that.
thinking, not jumping at
Right.
things,
Right.
that thought process, okay, that Rishi guides the Raja. So the worldly is happening, and as I said, the supramundane,
Yeah.
through the dance itself, gives that kind of a maturity of thought.
Hard.
So that way, I think, looking back, I'm still happy that all that happened,
Right.
as a student,
Right.
then performer,
Right.
teacher, choreographer, author, social worker, when I was doing
Right.
work for the government school, and still we do have.
Right.
So what touched me, and going in the rural, going in the suburban trains in Mumbai, and you have people with a harmonium singing, young kids,
Right.
and you feel who's training them.
Right.
So if God gives me a chance, one day I will turn towards doing some projects like that, which I could with the help of my father's guidance. I started this project called Kala Chaitanya, and there was one organization which refused to fund and said, it's like seeing the worm, the leech stuck to the floor. How can you put it on a cushion?
Oh my, that's terrible.
These are kids who do not know what is the right and wrong in such areas. You see.
Right.
How are you going to teach them an elitist art like Bharatanatyam?
Right.
And I had to prove them wrong.
Right.
So the local papers put it up right bang on the first page of their supplements that cities, slum kids going to meet the President of India.
Right. That's
So I
extraordinary.
trained them
Right.
to
Extraordinary.
perform for Dr. Abdul Kalam.
Right.
But what gave me the challenge?
Right.
What gave me that, a josh
Right.
is because of such callous words.
Right. That was the trigger.
Words of compassion
Right.
and words of rude, cruel words to us. You see, because you cannot even see how you can talk like this about children. So then I said, this art is not the privilege of people in the cities.
Perfect.
This art has started from where?
Right.
And we need to give it back to the villages of the country actually.
Correct.
So only then there will be a social harmony.
Right.
Who needs it most?
Right. Absolutely. These interventions, like you said, this is a very bold intervention and proven. But like you said, words took you on that journey, but then Sri Chinmayananda's words, Chinmayamish's words, which was there, that was the way you looked at adversity as only a crown.
Yeah.
So, after that, were there any other quotes which, do they come to you? Do you go to them? Do you still refer?
I do a lot of reading. At the moment, I'm with Swami Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That.
Okay.
And Who Am I of Ramana Maharshi.
Right.
So regular reading of non-fiction, fiction, no longer that interested
Right.
because there's fiction movies because my husband brings me down to the ground level very often. So he may put on something and I'll watch that.
Right.
But a lot of spiritual books have been, my shelf is loaded with that. My family, my uncle, all of them have been passing on to me.
Right.
So, of even Osho and of Rajneesh's books on revolution recently, which I read, which is so good.
Right.
So, these readings give me that insightful process in which I'm churning out from me.
And your version comes out.
Yeah, like in dance also, it's like the Manodharma, no?
Right.
Like the intuitive, the Ajna Chakra
Right.
opens up and we suddenly take a posture which we never meditated upon, which we never practiced.
Practice. Wow.
Similarly, there will be words that are...
Correct. Which
Now, the word that is spoken is already gone through that process of sound, imagination. Then, in that, fraction of a second, you're speaking.
Right.
But we talk of, in Anandavardhana's Dhvanyaloka, theory on poetics, and Abhinav Gupta's Lochana, which is a commentary. You speak about these inner, even the instruments have the Pashyanti, Madhyama, that is the gross, the subtle, causal levels, where the sound is, where is it connecting with chakra.
Which chakra?
So the more and more I spend my time without spoken words,
Right. Only maybe taking it for reflection and contemplation kind of thing.
the results are much better. There's far more energy that is preserved, which I'm able to deliver better in my home, not to react immediately,
Right.
but to respond.
Right.
You see, not so if I look back at those situations, those were positive. There have been attacks where I felt, yes, I have to,
Right.
prove.
Right.
Today, if it comes to me also,
Right.
I will still do my work.
Right.
But my intention will not be to prove someone wrong.
I got it. I know.
I'll do my job.
Right.
And let them pray that they will also overcome.
Absolutely.
So that kind of, growth is needed. Evolution, personally, is needed. I feel.
No, I think if you have a honest purpose and like you said, the amount of reflection you get from all the reading and deep contemplation, that I think should also become mainstay of the society now, where kids are given spaces where they are, where they can absorb material and then sit for reflection and contemplation. because they need to, like you said, churn it, put it on the right path, and rather than just, just get attracted to.
It's called Nama, which is the word, Dhyana,
Right.
contemplation, Seva, service.
Seva will automatically come out because these two were.
Nam Dhan Seva is the ultimate
Is the
goal
ultimate.
of Dharma itself.
So should we make more time, you think, in the society now where, in the school or in the curriculum or in the use of what we use, a lot of technology, should we make space for reflection and contemplation as important as learning something directly?
What's happened is there's too much information and there's no knowledge.
And information
And there's
was
too
good
much
at our
knowledge,
time.
no wisdom.
Yes, yes.
It's
yes.
only information that is going.
Right, right.
Even in dance nowadays, people are only posting,
Posting
teasers, and it just goes on as an information.
Right.
But nothing is sustaining.
Right.
For that, you need to keep on listening and ruminating over it.
Right. That rumination process, which I think is just about now disengaged because we have a lot of technological tools now without naming which are our AI partners in that sense of the term. We have ready answers and we have ready solutions. So do you think that is going to kind of bring a decline in the human capacity, human
It
brain?
is decline. Bharatamuni himself says that man, ashakya, after so many years, you may not be able to do so many karanas, you may not be able to do so many of these things, then you may have to engage others also to do it.
Right.
But the decline should not be so much that you become like a robot which is just all the time on sensors because of somebody else is playing with you.
Right.
That is actually what is happening.
So how to bring this quorum, that rumination, reflection, contemplation, should it come at family level? Should it come somewhere?
Both family and your school or college, where both the inner and the outer.
Because an individual is lost in this information highway. It's almost like I can gather this information, I can put it on a trajectory, then I'm a winner. But self of who you are, like you have made yourself who you are, Dr. Padmaja, I think purely because of that deep rooting, reflection, rumination, and it's an essence of multiple things. So if to become somebody like you, like where you're clear, my journey has been about this. I have been and played all the roles. You have been the daughter, the wife, the mother, and grandchildren in that kind of to come in terms shortly. So every role you would have played. At the same time, you have built a quorum of disciples, societal interaction, the merits which you have achieved, which I'm going to record separately to the camera, which is a huge amount of accomplishments which are there. So all these while without missing a beat, it's been in harmony. But it takes so many roles which you have enjoyed and, the challenges and this you have taken in your stride for the generations to come or people to kind of take this kind of a journey. If they only rely on information, performance, or if it narrows down their whole thinking process, do you think they'll be able to, get that kind of...
We have to live the path, walk the path.
Right.
Disciples will definitely get inspired to follow. And I'm seeing very good positive results in whomever I have been able to groom myself. And looking constantly for such places where I can go and share this knowledge. And you need, as you say, the home is so important. The family model is very important.
Right.
As I said, women need to have one of these, like the music or the dance from the Indian system for the Indian women, for the women abroad.
Right.
They are going to benefit immensely because in the body, in movement, will not have so many negative health issues also.
Right. Okay, that way, as in a physicality. And also, I
Dance movement therapy has become a very
important.
The DMT is very strongly being utilized. It's good, but I have not taken it as a profession yet because I feel the spontaneity in which there is a healing happening.
Right.
I'm happy with that. I'm not deliberately trying to heal.
Right.
So because only then I benefit.
Right.
If I'm looking for my stomach, my heart is still, unfulfilled. But if my heart is fulfilled,
I know.
my stomach will slowly have things to,
Right. Which,
Saraswati and Lakshmi.
yeah, no, but here actually you put it in a very beautiful way. So if you are to now advise a disciple, how would you say? Let the heart be fulfilled, or should stomach lead the way to the heart?
No. Definitely the heart. Because only then the artist will be able to, first you have to get that such a strong fulfillment
Right.
that you will get the contentment for sure. You don't have to be, hungry or famished for food, or
If you are
you will definitely be comfortable because there is educational background for all of us. And you will, and every time I make it possible for them to get back something. So then this generation also will
be.
suppose we are, traveling somewhere, I tell them, try to fund their flights or something. In that way, I'm trying to motivate them. But the purpose is for fulfillment.
But that also directly is correlated to kind of where you reach, more brain cells. I mean, you kind of widen your intelligence with that.
Because
and
when
the
you say
is fulfilled.
heart, in the Shastras also, in the Holy Scripture, heart, the anahat, to this point, which is vak.
Right.
The vachika, the sound is here, the throat chakra.
Right.
These two.
Right.
This to this is the point of dissolution.
So you will be able to
This
deal.
to this, below the Manipuraka,
Right.
is sustenance.
Right.
And down onwards is creation. That's how we are also embodied. Right?
Right.
So, if this is already
Right.
very much, if the head is
Right.
in place,
Right.
where all the sense organs are
Right.
already happy, your heart, your eyes, you hearing the sound of the audience, clapping, all those things. If this is very well, you can even skip a meal, but you will be still
Right.
very, very happy and full.
And maybe you'll be able
And
to
that doesn't happen because there is a promise. N.S. Subbulakshmi, if I give you a recent example, had dedicated everything to Lord Venkatacharya.
Correct.
The TTD, she never took a single pie for her Suprabhatam, which became, its turnover was in crores then.
Right.
The Kanchi Mahaswami, whom I said is, she was a great follower. People came and told him that MS Amma is today in a very bad condition. She's not, they have sold their house. They're just able to manage their food and and because of Sadashiv, she had never wanted to take even a single rupee for the concerts.
Oh my.
And today, see how the world of concerts has become. They don't get up on stage unless check is paid.
Right.
It's coming back to MS Amma. So that was the way they were, both of the husband and wife. And then Kanchi Swami said to these people that the Vaikari is doing the Vaikari Sampradaya of singing Vitthal and such songs. They will come over and guide you. That's all he said.
Right.
So his word is that. It's coming from a different level.
Right.
Within a few days, there were 6 people who came as Gandharvas and they were singing in Tirupati, Tirumala. They were singing apparently Annamacharya's Kirtans. Nobody had heard till then. Then started the digging and they found in one place that, the manuscripts of the palm leaves of these Kirtans were hidden because they should not be, destroyed. That was given to MS2. That's why later on the Sriman Narayana song, Bhavam, all those Annamacharya Kirtans, she sang again because they told Kanchi Swami has told you to release. And that also turnover was so good. Then they came and offered all the money. She said no. He said, Kanchi Swami, I said, you have to take.
See, this is the royalty.
And the house came back, everything. So Mahaswami said, when you have that devotion for the richest Lord,
I know.
Do you think he will allow you?
Yeah. Ever.
So that kind of, like again said about Rama and Ravan. you should have, the first is that heart of,
Right. So wood is that heart. Gold will follow. It will be at your feet anyway. That kind of stuff. But I think it's very important, like you said, once this space is clear.
and that's not only now, okay?
Right,
It's
right.
from childhood.
Childhood. Okay.
From childhood, the joy of dancing was always, because that's what my father also brought in. He said, they will, those are all added side. This thing, it will be needed. I'm not sick if they give. I'm not going to say no.
Right.
Diksha, even Natyashastra said, artists should be rewarded. Kings used to give and all that down and has to give grants. That will be taken. But my objective is dharmartha, kama, moksha, purusharthas I got through this. I will still have this. That should be your goal. So my father's training, and in cities, you are already studying.
Right.
So then I had some degrees. And my mother used to always tell me, can't you take up a bank job?
Right.
I said, to work in the bank, I did BCom or because of dance. And then every time she comes and sees in the program, she says, no, don't give it up. She used to say
That's the spirit speaking. That's the spirit. So I think now, as kind of a takeaway message for children of today, you would say they will have to find their groove and they do their best in that groove. And because once you are able to put that groove into your mind and this upper body is radiant, and that radiance is itself where your intelligence opens, your aura is able to charismatically catch on to opportunities, and you become a spokesperson for that knowledge. And then that, I think, is a beautiful state.
Sure, absolutely. And increases your concentration. It improves your discipline. You can perform better. Like I said, I was always dancing and I was stopping. I was never, because the memory also becomes very strong.
Very strong. I think it kind of it creates a next level of intelligence. And
Absolutely. So this is and also the lateral.
right.
It's not really vertical. You have a, there is always a different way of looking an artist. It's not a line between dots.
Right.
There is a circumflex.
Right,
So
right.
you will always look at this possibility also. That creativity in you should grow.
Praise that to Parminder. Now, as a parting question, very important, away from the world we spoke of, is what do you think world is now standing in terms of climate change, in terms of sustainability, and our challenges which we face in our daily life? Weather is changing, food resources we are growing, there are challenges, weather is not as easily predicted as earlier. So, as an artist and also a person who is, deep dive into...
I think much before this problem became so much blown up, I had done one performance for the International Seed Conference,
Okay.
where I had dressed up like a, I may have some pictures in the past which was taken like one of the plants that you have here, and showing how much of pollution and other issues that the plant itself is facing, and trying to pump back oxygen to give back to, to humanity, and how the greed of man has overtaken him. So now it's an extreme kind of climate, right? So I also travel a great deal and seeing those, and I detest the use of plastic, which is becoming increasingly more, the wax, even the paper glasses. It's become a part of our life. We may have to go without food at times. I cannot be too strict.
Right.
At the same time, somewhere I'm having a balanced path. It's not like a doomed situation.
Right.
Man should never feel that way. There is hope. So despair and reacting to it and having sleepless nights over it is a bit too extreme.
Right.
But we have to do our bit in our own way. When we, in our daily life, I'm sure if we inculcate the messages that come to us as how we can make it easier for planet Earth, we have to make those efforts always concertedly.
But climate change is real? You think we are on that path?
Definitely, that's what we are experiencing
Your experience.
on a daily basis because of this extreme changes that are happening around, and the health issues that are coming
Right.
rapidly. So I'm sure we are on that world over. That's the statistics also. But then it's not like I say, there's too much of propaganda. It's also not very positive, because we are the ones who are going to do something about it. Unless emotionally we are stable and capable, we cannot address the situation.
That's a very good point. Like you said, if we kind of feel the panic mode and we go helter-skelter.
Right, because mostly even in Corona, that's what we saw, right? It was not more than the virus. It was the emotional instability and the fear that killed people.
Right.
So we cannot do that. We have to be bold. This is Kali Yuga, and the yugas, we will see its adversities on a daily basis, right? And there's so much of scarcity today now
Right.
of fuel and on a
Just about as we are speaking today, it feels like the fuel will be on track now.
So those days we could identify Ravan with the 10 heads.
Right.
Could identify the Kauravas today. Kali Yuga.
Right.
It's the Asuras are everywhere, and there are some who are really with those who are Mahishasurs, who are who are going to do as much damage as possible.
Without our knowledge.
We have to face it. We have to be bold.
Right.
And do our prayers to make us strong and continue this journey. But every time we see something and we can report it and we can solve it, we should not be, acting dumb. We have to
Be proactive and do
have to
something
be
positive.
proactive also, whether it's in school or home front, office, wherever we travel, our fellow passengers.
Right.
Care for, love thy neighbor is
Right,
definitely we have to care for the others, right? That comes automatically. We will change our ways or improve our life.
Improve our ways of life.
Yeah.
Great, Dr. Padmaja. It's been wonderful learning from you. And
Thank you, Anil, for posing such questions, because then only the words come out from the recesses of my heart, and I am also happy that I could share.
yes, kind of you. I want you to thank the audiences.
Thank you very much
And
for listening to us. And if you feel there was food for thought, do get back to me. I'm at padmajasuresh@hotmail.com. Bye now. Thank you.
hope you'll connect more dots from here to help you through the journey in life. My sincere aspiration is to keep sharing these thoughts with you and hoping that these words will find a way to open up numerous new possibilities in your life. We'll be happy if you could share this series of podcasts with others too. Do come back for the next episode, and till we meet again, bye-bye.